He is universally worshipped as the king of the boogie and a relentless driving titan of the electric blues, but John Lee Hooker's very first instrument was actually built out of farm trash. Growing up in rural Mississippi, a young Hooker constructed his first guitar by taking a rubber inner tube from a tire, stretching it tightly across the wooden door of his family's barn, and plucking it to create a deep, resonant bass note. From that single vibrating piece of scrap rubber, he developed the hypnotic one-chord groove that would eventually make him a millionaire rock and roll pioneer. In the late 1940s and 1950s, blues musicians were frequently exploited by record labels and rarely saw royalty checks. Hooker absolutely refused to be a victim of the system. Instead of signing an exclusive contract, he demanded to be paid entirely in cash up front. To get around exclusivity clauses, he simply walked from studio to studio in Detroit, recording under a hilarious string of bizarre fake names. Over the years, he released records as John Lee Booker, Texas Slim, Delta John, Birmingham Sam and His Magic Guitar, and even Little Pork Chops, repeatedly selling his signature sound to rival companies. Because Hooker never had any formal musical training, he played with a completely unorthodox, fluid sense of rhythm, adding or dropping beats based purely on his emotional feeling. This made it a complete nightmare for producers to pair him with traditional backing bands. To solve the problem during recording sessions, producers actually set up a separate microphone entirely dedicated to recording Hooker's foot. They would place a thick piece of plywood on the studio floor specifically for him to stomp on, turning his heavy leather boot into the band's only reliable metronome. Before Bob Dylan became the lyrical voice of a generation, he was just a teenage folk singer completely unknown to the public. In April 1961, a 19-year-old Dylan made his very first major public appearance in New York City at Gerde's Folk City. His job, playing as the opening act for none other than John Lee Hooker. Dylan's performance that night finally caught the attention of critics, launching his meteoric rise to fame. Despite writing some of the most enduring, evocative, and frequently covered lyrics in blues and rock history, Hooker was entirely unable to read or write. He composed hundreds of original songs completely from memory and raw improvisation. When he was in the studio, he couldn't read lyric sheets. He simply closed his eyes and allowed the words to flow out of him based on the heavy, hypnotic groove of his guitar playing. Much like country legend Mel Tillis, Hooker suffered from a severe stutter when he spoke in everyday conversation. However, the moment he started singing or playing the blues, the stutter completely vanished. Many music historians and biographers have argued that his lifelong stutter directly contributed to his massive musical success, forcing him to channel his voice and rhythm into his famous, repetitive, driving boogie style just to communicate his emotions smoothly.